Hi, this is Taylor at the Public Speaking Blog. Today we're going to go over the basics of speaking within a space. This could be an auditorium, a classroom, a house, a banquet hall, anywhere that you're inside. So there are three things that I like to keep in mind when speaking within a space. And that's going to be the actual space itself, establishing a presence within that space, and then controlling the stage within that space. So the things that I like to make note of in the actual space that I'm speaking at is the size, the amount of people, and what tools I have at my disposal to deliver my speech. So size and the amount of people are closely related. And the reason why these are so important is because you need to project your voice to the last person within that space. So if you're in an auditorium with 40 people, you're not giving your speech to the first 5 rows or the first 10 rows. If there's someone sitting in, let's just say, the 27th row, and that's the last person in your audience, you need to talk to that last person. He needs to hear your speech, or she needs to hear your speech. So project that far. Project to the last person in the room or the back of the room. That way everyone can hear you, your content isn't misheard, and everyone leaves there knowing exactly what you sought out to do. Now, the last part of this, of understanding your space, is the tools. So are you going to have a podium? Are you going to have a projector? So if you have a PowerPoint presentation, which I don't recommend, and we'll go into that in another video, but if you have a PowerPoint presentation and you don't have a projector, then all of a sudden you're unprepared and you're going to get really nervous and you're going to feel like a fish out of water. So know that kind of thing. Another thing is the podium. Are you going to have a place to put your notes on? If you don't, then you need to prepare to practice a lot more because you won't have any sort of tool for reference. And I don't recommend holding note cards. So the second part of this is establishing your presence within that space. So what a lot of people do wrong is they don't understand that you start your speech the second you get out of your chair to walk to the stage. So present yourself well, like you've begun your speech already. Walk up to the stage, stand there for a couple of seconds, make some eye contact, and then begin. A mistake that people make is they start talking as they're walking up to the stage. And people do this out of nervousness because they're anxious. But what this does is sort of gives, there's a period of time from when you've started talking to when you're setting up your notes, setting up your PowerPoint, that you now have to deal with this awkward silence. So don't start talking until you've established your presence on the stage for a couple of seconds, and everyone has your attention, and then you go. The third thing is controlling your stage within a space. Understand where you should stand. Where are the lights pointed? Don't stand too far back in the dark so people can't make out your facial expressions, and don't stand so close that the people in the back rows can't see you. So find a space, a happy medium, probably where there's a podium set up. It'll be there for you. You don't have to think too hard. But also think about how far left and right can I move? And typically when you move during a speech, you want to move during your transitions or when time changes in your speech. If you're giving an anecdote and you're moving from past to present to future, maybe take a couple of steps and let people know that we're transitioning here. So what I like to do is I pick 3 points within like 5 feet of where I start, and as I'm doing my introduction, I'll maybe start here, and I'm transitioning into my body. I make a couple steps here, and when I'm concluding, here. That way people can track with my structure and they know, hey, we're moving into a different part of the speech. This is part of controlling your stage. Another part of controlling your stage is making eye contact with people. And you don't need to make really intimate eye contact. I mean, you can look at the top of heads, that helps me, or even the back of the room a little bit, and just make it look like you're engaging the audience personally. Here, and here, and here. Give everybody their fair share of time during your speech, so as long as you're not doing it constantly. A big mistake that people will make is they will constantly move during a speech. They'll walk here as they're talking, and they'll walk here as they're talking. And what that does is it really distracts your audience. And they have trouble focusing on the actual content of your speech, which is what you're there to deliver. All right, so that's been the basics of speaking within a confined space. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below or email me at thepublicspeakingblog@gmail.com.